I am Joseph, and my story. It is a testament to how even the deepest betrayals can be woven into a tapestry of divine purpose. I once stood on the precipice of death, cast aside by those who should have loved me most. But what if that very darkness was the path to a light I could never have imagined? What if the chains of slavery were merely steps on a ladder to a throne? This is my journey. A journey of dreams, despair, and destiny. I was the 11th son of Jacob, born to my father's beloved Rachel. From my earliest days, I was different. My father, in his boundless love, clothed me in a coat of many colors, a symbol of his favor. This garment, so beautiful to me, became a beacon of resentment to my older brothers. They saw the love my father poured upon me, and their hearts grew cold. Then came the dreams. Vivid, prophetic visions that spoke of my future. I saw sheaves of grain bowing down to mine, and the sun, moon, and 11 stars prostrating themselves before me. In my youthful innocence, I shared these dreams with my family. My brother's anger flared. Are you indeed to reign over us? Or are you indeed to have dominion over us? They scoffed. Even my father rebuked me, yet he pondered my words. One day, my father sent me to check on my brothers as they tended the flocks in Dothan. As I approached, they saw me from afar. The coat of many colors, a vibrant target. Their hatred, long simmering, boiled over. Here comes the master of dreams, they sneered. A dark plot formed in their minds, to kill me and throw me into a pit. Reuben, the eldest, intervened, suggesting they throw me into a pit alive, secretly planning to rescue me later. They stripped me of my cherished coat, the symbol of my father's love, and cast me into a dry cistern. The darkness was absolute, the silence deafening, broken only by the frantic beating of my own heart. I cried out, pleaded, but my pleas fell on deaf ears. They sat down to eat, indifferent to my terror. Then, a caravan of Ishmaelites appeared, on their way to Egypt. Judah, seeing an opportunity, proposed a different fate. What profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. And so, for 20 pieces of silver, I was sold. My own brothers, my own flesh and blood, traded me like a common animal. The journey to Egypt was long, filled with despair and uncertainty. I was a slave, torn from my home, everything I knew. In Egypt, I was bought by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard. Despite my circumstances, I resolved to serve with all my heart. The Lord was with me, and I prospered. Potiphar saw this and made me overseer of his house, entrusting everything he owned to my care. But my trials were far from over. Potiphar's wife, a woman of beauty and cunning, cast her eyes upon me. Day after day, she tempted me, urging me to lie with her. I refused, explaining that I could not betray my master, nor could I sin against God. One day, when no one else was in the house, she seized my garment. I fled, leaving my cloak in her hand. Enraged by my rejection, she falsely accused me of assault. Potiphar, hearing his wife's fabricated story, was furious. Without a trial, I was thrown into the prison. The darkness of the pit returned, but this time, it was a stone cell. Yet, even there, the Lord was with me. He showed me kindness and granted me favor in the eyes of the prison warden. Soon, I was put in charge of all the prisoners. Years passed. In that prison, I met Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and chief baker, who had offended their master. Each had a troubling dream, and I, by God's power, interpreted them. The cupbearer would be restored to his position, the baker would be executed, and so it came to pass. Before the cupbearer left, I pleaded with him, "Remember me when it is well with you, and please show kindness to me. Make mention of me to Pharaoh, and get me out of this prison." But he forgot me. For 2 more years, I languished in that cell. Then Pharaoh himself had 2 disturbing dreams. No one in Egypt could interpret them. Suddenly, the cupbearer remembered me. There was a young Hebrew in prison, he told Pharaoh, who interpreted my dream perfectly. I was hastily brought before Pharaoh, cleaned and dressed. Pharaoh recounted his dreams. 7 fat cows devoured by 7 lean cows, and 7 full heads of grain swallowed by 7 thin, scorched heads. It is not in me, I told Pharaoh. But God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. I explained that both dreams foretold 7 years of abundant harvest, followed by 7 years of severe famine throughout all Egypt. I advised Pharaoh to appoint a wise and discerning man to oversee the land, to gather and store 1/5 of the produce during the years of plenty so that the land would not perish during the famine. Pharaoh, recognizing the wisdom and the spirit of God within me, declared, "Can we find such a one as this?" He appointed me over all of Egypt, second only to himself. He gave me his signet ring, fine linen garments, a gold chain, and a chariot. I was 30 years old. From a slave, to a prisoner, to the most powerful man in Egypt, all in the blink of God's eye. The 7 years of plenty came, and I gathered grain like the sand of the sea. Then the famine struck, just as I had foretold. It was severe, gripping not only Egypt but all the surrounding lands. People from every nation came to Egypt to buy grain from me, for the famine was severe everywhere. And then they came. My 10 older brothers, sent by my father to buy food. They bowed down before me, their faces to the ground, just as my dreams had foretold so many years ago. I recognized them instantly, but they did not recognize me. My heart was a whirlwind of emotions, pain, anger, but also a profound sense of God's hand in it all. I spoke harshly to them, accusing them of being spies, testing their character, their loyalty to each other, and to our youngest brother, Benjamin. Through a series of tests, I saw their remorse, their changed hearts, their willingness to sacrifice for Benjamin. Finally, I could no longer hold back. I sent everyone out of the room, and I wept aloud. "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" They were terrified, speechless. "Come near to me," I urged. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves, for God sent me before you to preserve life." It was a moment of profound forgiveness, a release of years of pain. I saw not their betrayal, but God's sovereign plan. He had used their evil for good, to save many lives, including their own. I embraced them, weeping, and then sent them back to Canaan to bring my father and all our families to Egypt. My father, Jacob, came with all his household, 70 souls in total. The reunion with my father was one of the most precious moments of my life. To see his face again, to embrace him after so many years, was a joy beyond words. We settled in the land of Goshen, and I provided for them all. Years later, as my father lay dying, he blessed my sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, and then blessed all my brothers. After his death, my brothers, still fearing my retribution, came to me, begging for forgiveness. "Do not be afraid," I told them. "For am I in the place of God? But as for you, you meant evil against me. But God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today." I lived to see my great-grandchildren. I died at the age of 110, but before I passed, I made my brothers promise to carry my bones out of Egypt. When God led them back to the promised land, my life was a journey through the deepest valleys and to the highest peaks. I learned that even when human intentions are wicked, God's purposes are always good. He can take the broken pieces of our lives, the betrayals, the suffering, and weave them into a masterpiece of redemption and grace. Trust in His plan, even when the path is dark, for His faithfulness endures through all generations.